Alright guys, James here from 5 Star Rating 22. Alright, second painting tutorial. It's going to be on a Tau battlesuit. I hope you guys enjoy this one. A little bit longer. I tried to chop down as much as possible though. Alright, so you can see here it's pre-assembled this time. I didn't do the assembly part because I'm just kind of a basic one and it was already made and I didn't feel like pulling it apart. And now here I'm going to show you a different way of picking a color scheme. Like if I come to paint a guy and I don't really know what I want to paint him, a lot of times I'll just pick a color, do most of the model in that, and then just add on pieces for detail. So as you can see here, I am painting with my base coat Citadel Games Workshop brush, and I am painting it in Citadel Foundation Mechrite Red is the paint, and that is mixed 2 parts paint to about 1 part thinner. Yep, I even thinned out the foundation paint just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do pretty much the whole model in a base coat of this Mechrite Red. It might be a good idea to use a spray primer beforehand, but I didn't on this because I think it'll be alright. So, alright, I got the red painted pretty much all around. Don't forget, get every place, if it needs 2 coats in some areas, due to the thinness of the paint, make sure that you hit those spots so you can get a nice even color. And then, so you can see here I left the legs, because I'm going to do those in a metallic. I left the legs and the back vents, I left those gray, just to help out with doing less coats over with the metallic. Now, I chose chainmail silver from the Yellow's Game Color line for the silver on this. It's a little bit brighter. I didn't want such a dark silver, being as it's Tau. I figured they're a little cleaner army here. So I took this, and this is thinned out. Like whenever I use the Yellow Game Colors paints, I usually thin these out 1:1, and this also is thinned out 1:1. So I'm going to go ahead and paint up all the legs, and I think it took me about 3 coats, 3 thinned out coats of this to get a nice even smooth color. So I went ahead and do all the silver here, including the ball joints, as you can see here. I didn't do the ball joints in between the arms because you can't even see them. They're far enough in there that it's not recognizable. So go ahead and get all the silver. I also did the vents on the backpack, the little vent that you can kind of see in the front place there, and then the 2 smaller vents on the top of the bag here, as you'll see as well. I'll show you. Now remember, you want to be careful. Try not to get the silver. You don't want to try to get any silver onto your nice red, because it's not too hard, to touch up, being that it's foundation paint, but just save you time, and it's good practice. So you can see there, got the silver all base coated in there. So you can see the legs turned out pretty nice. Got a nice silver coverage to that. Did the little vent on the chest and the 2 little vents up on the backpack as well. Nice even coat. Alright, now I'm going to take my wash brush and do some Battle Black from Citadel Games Workshop. So you can see here I'm using my nice nylon bristled wash brush that I usually use, a little thinner. And I'm going to run a pretty even, not so thick, concentrating more into the recesses of the metal parts here. So just on the metal parts I am doing the Battle Black wash. Really concentrating on the edge connecting parts where the metal connects to the red, and running a nice line in there, and then also the deeper crevices parts as well. And I don't want to darken up the silver too much. It will get, it is going to get highlighted later, but I didn't want to dull down the silver too much because I want the silver a little brighter to kind of represent that the Tower are a more sophisticated, cleaner army. Make sure that you work it into the harder to reach spots. You want the wash to be nice and even. Now, sometimes when you're doing washes, you'll get a bubble or some bubbles going in it. Make sure you just work those bubbles out, because otherwise it will end up looking a little bit goofy if you look close enough at it. So just take your time and work the bubbles out if you get any bubbles in your wash while applying it. And work it into all areas, all the silver areas, inside of those vents there. Well, I worked some in there since it would be darker, some shading in there. And then the vents on the front chest and the vents up on top of the backpack or the jump pack as well. And you can see I got some bubbles in there, so I was just blowing on it to try to get it to pop. So just want to be careful about that. Alright, you can see here, now the wash is all dried. I also did the two bolts on the side of the backpack. On the top, I did those in silver. Now we're taking Citadel Bale Red, which is also a Games Workshop wash, and we're going to give all of the red armor. Anything that's done in red is going to get a nice coat of the wash. Again, making sure to cover into the deeper crevices, work the wash in. But on this one, you want to make sure that you're adding a little bit of more definition to all of the red plating. So make sure when I say all over, anything that's red gets a wash. Everything in red, I'm giving a wash here to make sure I have a nice even color of red there. Working it in, even the back spots, just touch it up. You want your color to be consistent at this point. So you can see here, I almost got it all done. Working some, you can see I'm working it around in some of the harder to reach spots. See? Even the flat parts on top and stuff like that, I touched with the wash just to make sure I had a nice coat with that, because it is going to change the color a bit. And then just give that time to dry, standing straight up and down. You don't want to have it vertical or anything while it's drying. And you can see there we got some more definition to the armor there, and a little bit change in the color as well. Now I'm going to take my standard brush from Games Workshop and found Citadel Games Workshop's foundation paint Deneb Stone, and I'm going to do an undercoat for all the spots that I am going to paint up in lighter colors. So you can see here, this is also mixed up about two parts paint to 1 part thinner. And again, doing a nice thin coat. Now, when I did this, it did take about two coats of this. Even though it's foundation paint, it did take 2 coats because it is a little bit lighter color. But it's not bad. You're not going to fill in the details, being that you thin it out nice. So I went ahead and just kind of, when I'm picking the plating here to do in this Deneb Stone right here, I'm just kind of picking at random, while at the same time trying to keep balanced. Have as much of the Deneb Stone on the left side as I would on the right side, while having a little bit different as far as which pieces I pick to do in the Deneb Stone. As you can see with a lot of Tau Army schemes out there. Now this is a little different Tau Army scheme, but I think you'll like the end result on it. So you're welcome to use this color scheme, obviously, and if you don't like it, let me know and give me some comments as well. But I think it turned out kind of neat, and I'm actually gonna use a little bit different color here. Now this Deneb Stone is just to give my lighter colors something to grasp onto, so I ain't putting lighter colors right on top of red, because it'll take a lot more coats. So you can see here, made it along a little farther. Still just kind of picking pieces at random to do in the Deneb Stone, except for obviously the parts that I'm going to do in a lighter color, such as the lenses. I gave those a coat with the Deneb Stone. The tips of the rockets, or the missile pod on the left arm, you can kind of see them there. Those are going to get a coat of the Deneb Stone as well. And then on the shoulder pads, I did opposites. I did the outer part of the shoulder pad, and the other one I did the little inset piece. Also, I did the whole helmet. Besides the little back part that's inside there, I left that red, but otherwise the rest of the helmet is done in this Deneb Stone as well, just to give him a nice top, so he's kind of a light heavy on the top part. As you can see here, still just kind of working around, deciding pieces to do in the Deneb Stone. I took a little bit more time showing you these ones, gave it a little bit more space in the video, just kind of showing you how at random it is. But while I'm still trying to kind of keep it balanced. Now on the back here, there's not a lot of spots or plating differentials to pick between. So I did it exactly even is what I did. I did this bottom piece here that you can see I'm painting right now, and then I did the one right above it, and the one on the right as well. I forgot to do the finger parts here on the hands in silver, so I went back and did those with the silver. That's the chainmail silver, and that's mixed 1-to-1 with thinner. All right, there you go. Now you can see that I've got all the Deneb stone base coated in. You can see it's kind of picked at random, but it's still got a nice consistency, and it helps add some character to the model, I guess. Now you can see our Elfic Flesh is actually going to be my secondary color in this army. I believe it was Les from Awesome Paint Job had said before, don't look at the name on the paint, but actually look at the color instead. Now, if I'm quoting who said this wrong, I'm sorry. I thought that was who I heard it from. I couldn't find the video where I had heard that, but I wanted to show you guys that, you know, even though this is Elfic Flesh, it's supposed to be a flesh color. It's actually it'll look pretty nice with this little darker red that the armor color is going to be. So. Just to show you a difference. Now, this did take about, I think it was about 3 or 4 coats, if I remember right, of this Elfic Flesh. Even though I did it on the Deneb stone, it does take a few more coats due to, I did thin it out. It's 1-to-1. This is a light pigmented paint color here, so it took a few more layers. So you'll see me working on the same pieces quite a few times. I want to show you that this took quite a while to get this nice consistency, but it's better to take your time, you know, and go over it with several thin coats than to just put one really thick coat on there. You know, it's worth the effort. You get, as you know, as they always say, you get what you pay for, and pretty much, you know, your army's going to look as good as how much time you put into it. People will tell, and people will really notice when you put a good amount of effort and time into painting your armies. So take your time, you know. Now I understand if you tournament goers and stuff out there, and you gotta get an army painted out quick. I understand that. I do the same thing, and what I'll do a lot of times is, instead of, you know, I won't finish a model, I'll get a lot of the base coat work done, get 3 colors on it so I can play with it in a tournament. But I won't, you know, I won't finish up the detail work yet. Then I'll come back at a later time and finish the detail work on the model if I'm trying to get a bunch of guys done or a whole bunch of units done for a tournament. So I understand the process of trying to speed it up, but, you know, take your time, and just if you know, if you bring it to a tournament and it doesn't look the greatest, just remember next time, you know, when you come back, you touch them up. It's going to look a lot better than just trying to speed it through and have them halfway decent looking at the first round. So, alright, at the first tournament with them. So you can see I'm just taking my time, and I also left this way so you could see a little bit more of all the pieces that I picked out to do in this elfish flesh. You can see here, I think you can start to see now the color really start to come out with it. And that's most of it there. So pretty nice color. Thanks for watching, guys. This is just the first part. Hope you guys come back for part 2 later.